Why hello there old sports, and welcome to the Weaversong only video. Now about a year ago, another YouTuber named Masker did this same challenge, so to justify this video's existence, I will be doing the true ending and killing the Radiance. I will be starting with Weaversong equipped at King's Pass, and any other charms that synergize with Weaversong will have to be gained naturally throughout the game. Now the thing about Weaversong is the little weavers only do 3 damage per hit. At least Grimithy did 11, so that's going to be amazing, having to deal with 3 damage hits, but there are 3 of them, and I think they can attack more rapidly when they're attacking at max speed, which they won't be. As a bonus objective, I will not be collecting any spells, and must deal with the consequences of not getting any spells, so yeah. Since we won't be getting any spells, I immediately decide to go to Green Path and kill the Elder Balder with my Weaverlings, because they can actually hit it. It's just kind of janky on when they choose to. But as long as you stand close enough to them to where the Balder won't close its shell, but the Weaverlings can still attack, you'll be hunky-dory. Is that a phrase people still use? The next interesting thing to note is Vengefly King, and how Zote kind of just disappears. I think the Weaverlings ate him. I have conflicted feelings about this, just like with Grimithy. Also, I just would like to point out that the Moss Chargers don't take damage from the Weaverlings. Like, you can't break their Moss shield thing. After resting at the Stag Bench, I go back to fight Hornet for the dash. And now is as good of a time as ever to describe how most boss fights go in this challenge. If the boss stays on the ground for long periods of time, good, easy, convenient. If the boss stays in the air for long periods of time, boo, no, inconvenient, bad boss, or it's not a bad boss, it's just annoying for this one very niche specific challenge. Thankfully, Hornet stays on the ground a lot. And even when she is in the air, she's usually static in the air because she's doing her Gossamer Storm, so the Weaverlings can still take potshots at her. But she does spend most of the time on the ground, either running, dashing, or throwing her needle, so the Weaverlings can just stack damage up on her. But soon enough, Hornet falls, and then we get our dash, and we just quit out back to Dirtmouth, I guess, because usually I would end up at the Ancestral Mound, but we're not going there at all this run. Now that I have the dash, I go over to Mossy and let my Weaverlings pet him, because I'm a good person, and also because I want the money I can pry out of his corpse. After almost dying a few times in the local minefield, I go through Queen Station and Fungal Waste to get a new Charm Notch, and, oh no, the Weaverlings, they're not doing very much damage. I mean, I knew that going in, but holy moly, they are not doing a lot of damage. These slow, barely moving enemies are taking a while to kill. This is not good, folks. This is not good. After taking way too much damage trying to get Mantis Claw and get 2 of the Mantis Lords, I decide that I'm not going to do that, and I leave, after saving Bretta, I guess. After running around the crossroads and getting enough mask shards for a 6th mask, I decide now is a good time to fight False Knight. And the thing about False Knight is that every time you knock him down, he has two phases of health. He has armor health and maggot health, and maggot health will carry over between armor phases, if that makes any sense. So you have to knock his armor phase down twice to be able to do enough damage to the maggot phase to make him do a tantrum. And the thing is, that's definitely not going to come back to haunt me later. But regardless of any impending doom that may or may not be approaching, I am able to kill False Knight and I move on with my life, for now. After grinding on the Huskards for about an hour, phrasing, I have enough money to buy the lantern from Sly, so I can actually go to the Crystal Peaks now and get the Crystal Heart so the rest of the game can actually begin. The Crystal Peaks aren't actually that interesting, to be honest, at least not for this challenge, because I'm not fighting there's technically only one boss who has 2 forms, but there's not really very many combat challenges in Crystal Peaks. There's no arenas, to my knowledge, off the top of my head. I don't think there's any arenas. So the whole Weaverlings only thing kind of becomes irrelevant for a little bit while we just play the game normally to get the Crystal Heart. The thing about Crystal Peaks is it's more of a platforming area, or a platforming light area, because the White Palace is the platforming area. But you get what I mean. I do pick up the Shopkeeper's Key because that gives me access to Sly's extended inventory, which includes Sprint Master, which is one of the 2 charms that synergizes with Weaversong very well. It gives them a faster movement speed, which can be an upside and a downside, but I'll get to that a little bit later. Now that I have Crystal Heart, I'm able to make my way to the resting grounds, and then I start my grind for Essence by doing the Dream Tree right outside Seer's hut, and then killing Zero. And the thing about Zero is he's our introduction to airborne bosses in this challenge, and he's already annoying, because he floats back and forth. Or, the dream bosses specifically are really annoying in this challenge, because they float back and forth, they can teleport. Zero can't teleport, but some of them can. So it's really hard for the Weavers to actually do damage to them, because every time they can hit them, they'll just teleport away, it feels like. So the Dream Warriors are really annoying, but we're going to need to kill a lot of them if we want to get the true ending. Or, it's not the true ending, but the Radiance ending. And I'll get to it later, but I did resort to low TE strats for some reason. I don't know why. That was 11 hours down the drain, but okay. Next up is everyone's favorite slug thing, Gorb. And Gorb is kind of just there. He's probably the least annoying dream boss because he has a tendency to float towards the ground, and he doesn't have stupid projectiles. Or physics-based projectiles. We'll get to that later. But yeah, Gorb. We like Gorb. Gorb is a good guy. He's a very good source of 100 essence. And then I also made sure to get the Dream Tree in the little area behind him in the Howling Cliffs, just because, again, I don't feel like fighting half the Dream bosses, or, well, I do fight more than half the Dream bosses. I don't like fighting the Dream bosses in this challenge, because at least with Grimithy, he would lock onto a target. The Weaverlings kind of just do whatever the hell they want, so that can be annoying. So, it's good to just grab the Dream Trees. Also, I didn't really want to mention this, but I died to Elder Hu and I didn't pick up my shade for a while, so if you see for a lot of the footage for a bit, the shade isn't there, that's why. After the Great Elder Hu incident of 2025, I decided that now's a good time to fight Lurian, or I don't fight Lurian, I kill his guards. I keep, half the time when I refer to the Dreamers, I'm like, oh yeah, let's go kill the Dreamers, and then the other time I'm like, let's go fight the Dreamers. And I kind of use those interchangeably, even though one of them is just categorically false. Regardless, Watcher Knights are pretty easy. They're just tedious, like half the things in this challenge, because you're just waiting for these 3 damaged little spiders to just do their jobs. That's the thing. The Watcher Knights aren't that hard to dodge, because I mean, they would be easier to dodge if I had Monarch Wings or Shadow Dash, but they're still pretty easy. You can do this fight on any percent, or when you do this fight on any percent or with low equipment, it's still possible, it's just not very easy, but the Watcher Knights are... I guess I'm not complaining about the boss being hard, because we'll get to that later, but it's just, I don't know, the Watcher Knights aren't that bad, I guess. I was expecting, I guess that's the thing, I was expecting them to be worse going in, but they really weren't as bad as I thought they would be, so I kind of felt a bit ripped off, because I was like, I was expecting you to be annoying and tedious, you were just kind of tedious. But at least I didn't waste time getting into 30-minute attempts trying to kill the Watcher Knights and then fail. Again, we'll get to it. So the Watcher Knights go down pretty, well, I don't want to say easily, the Watcher Knights go down after some time, so that's good. The fight took about 6 minutes according to my footage, so that's pretty good all things considered when I'm just doing this with only Weaverlings being my source of damage. Hate. Let me tell you how much I've come to hate you since I began to live. If the word hate was engraved on each cell in my body, it would not equal 1/1,000,000th of the hate I feel for Uumuu at this micro instant for you. Hate. Hate. Poorly acted out, I have no mouth and I must screen speeches aside. Uumuu was really tedious. I did not like this fight. This fight took 25 minutes. 25. Yeah, no, I'm just letting that simmer for a second. I'm letting the silence just exist for a second there. 25 minutes of my very limited time on Earth was wasted killing Uumuu with Weaverlings. And the thing is, sometimes when the bubble phase or when Uumuu's guard was popped, sometimes the Weaverlings wouldn't even do anything. They would just miss. They just wouldn't damage Uumuu at all. So, wonderful. Wonderful. Just wonderful. And Uumuu has about as much health as one Watcher Knight. So, the Watcher Knight fight, when they're on the ground, yeah, it's easy. Just the Weaverlings just go ham. But when it's in the air, oh boy, I do not like it. It's not very fun. It is very tedious. But fun fact, this is only the this is the second worst fight in this challenge somehow. But I still thought Uumuu was stupider, or it was more stupid. And I guess that's the running joke so far is that Uumuu is just annoying. Or at least that's what happened with the Furious challenge and the Grimithy challenge. So yeah. This is a screenshot of my save file screen, and I zoomed in on the time so you can notice that it took 11 hours, or I'm at 11 hours. When I killed Hera, I was about 1.5 hours. That was how much time I had put in on this save file when I killed Hera. Now you may be wondering, where did 10 extra hours come from? And that is a very good question. Un had to be really busy making more plants to grow in Green Path because I slaughtered so many of them trying to get essence. So many plants. Because I didn't really ever check the birds because I didn't know if the Weaverlings would be able to hit the birds before they flew away. So I just ran around Green Path, just killing the mosquitoes, the mosskin, the little crawler thingies. I was killing so many of them for essence. And I grinded up to about 1,000. So just for a whole night, I just listened to music, listened to YouTube videos, and I just killed things for 10 hours, and it got me about 500 essence. I hope you all appreciate the lengths I go for this YouTube channel. Next up, I'd like to talk about our favorite little broken boy, or thing, because usually I kind of skim over their fight, just for saving time, I guess, because I don't want these videos to be too long. And I think that's also why I've been able... Anyways, regardless, Broken Vessel, or in this case Lost Kin, I'm only showing Lost Kin because there's no point in showing both Broken Vessel and Lost Kin because I fight them back to back. But, Lost Kin is really interesting because Weaverlings is actually easier than some of the other challenges I've done, which is kind of odd, because the main thing that makes Lost Kin annoying for these minion-only runs is the balloons, because the balloons will take focus away from Lost Kin. But when you have the Weaverlings, they can kill since there's 3 of them, they can kill the balloons faster and then slowly chip away at Broken Vessel, or Lost Kin. So Lost Kin isn't actually that difficult with the Weaverlings, thankfully, so good job, Weaverlings, you're an advantage in at least one fight. If you actually want to do this fight well, though, I would equip Defender's Crest, because the thing about Defender's Crest is that the balloons in this fight, they're not like the other infected balloons that you'll find within the Ancient Basin, they only have 1 health point, so when they come in contact with the barrier that's constantly around you from Defender's Crest, they instantly die. So you can always heal safely without having to worry about the balloons, though you still should watch out for the vessel itself. Unfortunately for this fight, Lost Kin has a lot of health. It just so oodles and oodles of health. So it takes a while to deal with them, but their attack patterns aren't that bad. The worst thing is sometimes they'll jump into you awkwardly, but that can be dealt with I guess it can be dealt with. It's not too hard to just keep your distance and just dash when it lands. After killing Broken Vessel, I go and kill Elder Hu for the essence, and thankfully, since I haven't upgraded my nail and I'm not going to, Elder Hu goes down really easily. No, he doesn't go down really easily. Why am I saying that? He is so tedious, but again, that's just because he is an airborne boss, and those suck. After that, I go fight Hornet 2 in Kingdom's Edge, and the thing about this is, she summons the spike balls, and I chose to hit them away with my nail, but I always made sure that Hornet wasn't close to me when I did that, so she wouldn't accidentally get hit by my nail. And then after that, I get King's Brand, go to the Abyss, get Shade Cloak, yada yada yada. But Hornet 2 isn't that difficult, she's just Hornet 1 but faster. And again, she's a grounded boss, so the Weaverlings actually are able to do good amounts of damage to her. It doesn't matter if she's moving faster, she's still on the ground most of the time, because gravity, if anything, she's on the ground more, because I feel like her gravity is stronger in this, like she falls faster, so yeah, take that. The Queen's Gardens arena that main Queen's Gardens arena you have to do on the way to open the Stag Station is no, it's not on the way to the Stag Station, it's on the way to open the shortcut, but, you get what I mean. That whole arena was more annoying than the whole Traitor Lord fight, because Traitor Lord, I just dash, jump, dash, jump. Well, I had to wait forever to get the Petras because they kept flying out of... I hate flying enemies in this challenge, they're so annoying. They kept flying out of range of my Weaverlings, so I just had to sit there and just watch them do whatever. Now that we have the Void Heart, we can finally fight the Hollow Knight and the other one. Oh god, the other one. The Hollow Knight is actually pretty easy, because like we've established, if it's on the ground, feel free to pound... That sounds really wrong. If it's on the ground, let me think. If it's on the ground, there's fun abound, but if it's in the sky, you're going to die. Yeah, that's a good rhyme. Sorry, that's so stupid. No, but the Hollow Knight is a good fight. You just jump over its attacks, you dash through it. It's easy, it's convenient, it's just a bit time-consuming. There is another part of this puzzle, though, that I need to address. I don't know how much time is left in this video, but the rest of it is going to be spent talking about the Radiance. Now, as we just established, if it's in the sky, you are going to die. And while I did not die, I died inside. Rhymes. The Radiance is in the air, so the Weaverlings have to jump to hit it, and the Weaverlings, just half the time, they just decide they don't want to die, the giant moth trying to burn them with lasers, so yeah, that's wonderful. The Radiance also has so much health. You know how it took me 25 minutes to kill Uumuu? Uumuu, half the time, or most of the time, Uumuu is invincible. It took me 30 minutes to beat the first 2 phases of the Radiance. And the Radiance is vulnerable. It's not invincible. What? The Radiance is so tanky. It's so ridiculous. I remember I gave a sigh of relief when I saw that the fight was getting harder, because at least I was progressing. It was closer to being over. Jeez, I hate this fight with only Weaverlings. And the Weaverlings will just dive off the platforms into the void, and then you'll have to respawn, and then it takes a few seconds for them to want to attack again. And it's so awful. I hate it so much. It's so terrible. Oh god, the platform phase. That's what I'm talking about. The platform phase. At least the first phase, when it's on the ground, there's more ground for you to stand on, so the Weaverlings can get a running start and they can jump. But when they're in the void, they can't do that, so they only have these platforms to stand on. It's so awful. And I don't want to yell because it's late at night, and my family is trying to sleep, and I don't want to yell and wake them up. But I want to scream about how terrible this fight was. I think it took me an hour. I didn't look at the footage to see how long it took me to do this, because it was kind of blended in with the rest of the Hollow Knight fight, but I decided to count the first phase, but I just was like, you know what, if that's... I don't know, well, since I don't know why I didn't count the second half, I'll just do that real quick. It took me 30 minutes to do the platform phase. God, that is terrible. Oh my god, it is so bad. I hate it. This fight was miserable. Do not do this. Please do not do this. Just stop with the Hollow Knight. The Hollow Knight ending is fine. Just don't do this, please. I beg of you. This is me pouring my heart out and just warning you. Do not do this. This is a terrible idea. You will not get anything out of this. No one wants to fight the Radiance for an hour. Well, or an hour straight, unless, well, okay, I'm sure some of the Any Radiance folks have probably done that, but... Oh my god, this fight was terrible. At least with Any Radiance, you can attack normally, and you have to put, like, mental effort into attacking. Well, I'm just standing there waiting for my dumb spiders to do something. It is so awful. Jeez, it is so terrible. It is ridiculous. I just don't know. I don't know how to describe it more. It's just so awful. I don't have anything positive to say about the Radiance, or even productive to say about the Radiance. If you like this video, like and subscribe, I guess. Thank you for giving me some of your time to watch Weavers do this. Don't do this challenge. I beg you. Please don't. Have a good day. Thank you.